All right, two things have been constant for most people during the pandemic: baking at home and running outside to stay fit, because let's face it, who wants to visit a gym right now? And that desire to run has played right into the hands of running shoemaker Brooks Running. CEO Jim Weber joins us now. Jim, good to speak with you again here. We've been digesting, the entire stock market been digesting really a sluggish start to the holiday shopping season. What have you seen in your business?
You know, it's a continuation. And I just have to go back to March and April when retail froze. It was closed all throughout Europe, a rolling closure across the US, and apparel and footwear. That's important. So everything froze. But what we saw is people started running, and we're seeing incredible growth in participation right now. So in third quarter, our revenue growth built 49%. And Cyber 5, everyone in retail is focused on. And I would say all of our retail partners, including our own website, continue to see growth this year. We're expecting to be up this year, year over year, in a pandemic year. We feel so fortunate, 30%. So the business in run is very strong right now.
Hey, Jim, it's Julie here. You mentioned on your own website you've been seeing a lot of traffic. I am curious, sales channel wise, what have you been seeing this year? Has it mostly been on your website? Has it been through other online only retailers? Has it been in store? What's that mix look like?
You know, it's been so dynamic as the customer has moved around as this pandemic rolled through our entire economy. So what's interesting is we think in running, you know, if you want to address runners, you have to be multi-channel, and we've always been that way. So what we've seen last year, 37% roughly of our entire volume went through a website with our partners or our own. That went to over 80% in April and May. And obviously the stores were closed, so it makes sense. It's already come back down to the low 40s. So people go back to stores. That's what we're seeing. And so the retailers that we work with in specialty run and in sporting goods have all seen a recovery in their in-store sales when they can be open. And they've been very resourceful in that regard with curbside pickup and ship to home and the like. But, you know, we've actually seen the customer come back almost to where they were in 19 when the stores were open. So again, we think the multi-channel approach in run is the winning strategy.
Jim, I certainly love to hear Specialty Run is doing well. I worked at a specialty shop for 5 years myself back in the day, Sneaker Factory, Millburn, New Jersey. Stop by if you're in town. But I want to ask about shoe technology to that end and what you guys have seen in the last couple of years. I think you and I spoke about this a couple of years back, and there's been so many sea changes really just in the last 15 years between more structure, less structure, more cushion. Where have you taken your line, and where do you see it headed over the next couple of years?
You know, what's happening in product to me is exciting. And if you ever thought that you couldn't improve a shoe, you were off base. I think your shoes are getting better every year. And so it's materials, it's fit, feel, ride, and the technologies that have come to play. We've just launched on the speed side, all new technologies on the road with our Hyperion series, and in trail with our Catamount. And you know, resilient midsoles are a part of that, a little more spring and the like. And then what's timeless is comfort and cushioning. And so two of our lead franchises that are really in the sweet spot of what frequent runners are looking for as a training shoe season in, season out, are the Ghost and Adrenaline. And both of them are up double digit this year. So we're excited. And it goes to apparel as well. You know, a run bra is a piece of equipment for women. And we've just re-engineered that entire line. It's doing very well. And what's really important now with so many people running in their neighborhoods is visibility. And so we've got a Run Visible connection in apparel. It's got 3M reflective on it in all the right places. And so it's, you know, we think, again, every runner needs performance. And that's where we've always sat in this category. And our product pipeline's never been stronger. We're excited.
And Jim, I imagine that repeat customers are a big part of your business. Do you have an idea of what percentage that is? And if I can put you on the spot a little bit, I'm curious what your favorite shoe to run in is and what your running routine looks like these days.
You know, it's interesting. I think the most important customer in a sense is the frequent runner, the person that's putting in 3 to 5 days a week, because they know if they're ever going to buy that shoe again, or a run bra or a jacket. So you have to prove it mile after mile with that frequent runner. There's 2 data points that have come out this year. Run USA is all of the race directors 18 million did a timed race last year. We're not happening right now on the racing side, and there's another company that does high-speed photography of people's feet in 5Ks to marathon. We were the #1 shoe on course last year. And in Q4, I think we were 3 or 4 points against the next brand. And you have to earn that. So I think, that frequent runner is somebody we pay a lot of attention to, because if we can win with them at mile 26, especially, we know we're delivering on performance. For me, I'm so lucky because I'm essentially sample size at Brooks. So I get to test a lot of shoes, but I have to say right now, the Glycerin is my favorite. It's just got great cushion into it. And for someone like me that's a little slower these days, I appreciate that every stride.
Jim, I am curious before we let you go on your supply chain. How has 4 years under the Trump administration forced you to change your supply chain? And what are your hopes under the Biden administration?
Brian, it's interesting. We're a global economy still, and I think fair trade is so important for us. We need to drive jobs here, but we have a global brand that runners all around the world appreciate. So free and fair global trade, I think, is going to be so important for our economy in a broad way in the future. Having said that, the tariffs were tough. We've had tariffs since the 1930s. But the running shoe tariff out of China would go to 45% today. That's where it is with the additional tariffs that were added. Obviously, that's not affordable. That was a huge factor on the price of every shoe. So we've oriented most of our supply chain now outside of China, all of it in shoes, but most of it across the board, because those tariffs were unaffordable. We couldn't raise prices. That's our view, is that, it's such a competitive category that we just had to move. So Vietnam and Indonesia, and we have great partners that fortunately have been able to set up production for us in those areas. But now we've completely exited China. It was disruptive, but it's something that we had to do in our business.
All right, let's get you out of here, Jim, so you can go do some wind sprints. Jim Weber, Brooks Running CO, always good to see you.
Thanks.